Moving to an entirely different state won't be so stressful if the place you're moving to is right for you. So if you're thinking Seattle might be the place for you, pay attention to this video. I'm going to help you choose where to live in the greater Seattle area. Hey everyone, I'm Lynea Carver with eXp Realty here in Bonney Lake, Washington. We are located just 45 minutes southeast of Seattle, Washington and 30 minutes northeast of Tacoma, Washington. And welcome to my YouTube channel where we talk about all things living in and around Seattle, Washington. I get so many questions daily about where to live in Seattle. Well, let's just say, I can't speak for you and tell you where exactly you want to live, but what I can do is give you a series of questions you should ask yourself so that you can make the best decision for yourself and your situation. First and foremost, where are you going to be working? If you're retiring or working remotely, skip ahead. Since the vast majority of us need to work to pay our mortgage, it's likely you will want to move closer to your job. Finding the job and the cities where your jobs in your career field are located, that's a tongue twister, is the most important piece of this. If your ideal commute is only 15 minutes, you may want to consider a home that is within walking distance. Because if I'm being completely honest, no matter where you live in Seattle, our heavy traffic doesn't actually give way to a 15-minute drive to most workplaces. Now, it's possible to find a home within 30 minutes to many spots. So if a 30-minute commute is in your wheelhouse, that could happen. But in many cases, a 45 to 60-minute drive is pretty normal. All of this to say, if your priority is being close to work, that will define the radius for your home search. Oh, you're working remotely, huh? Well, this changes things. You can choose to live just about anywhere, but the more rural areas may be limited because they typically have less reliable internet, so you may still need to consider a well-developed suburban area. As part of your buyer's due diligence, you should double check these things by checking the FCC websites and cross-checking the listings and double checking that information by actually calling the cable and internet companies directly. Not working? Similar to those working remotely, this opens up your options a lot more, but it also means you have to put in a lot more work in determining where to live in Seattle. So let's get on with it. The next question I recommend asking yourself is, do you need to be close to a major airport? And how close is close enough? This will definitely help narrow your decision, because if you want to live close, you need to move near one of our major cities. We have 3 airports in the Seattle area: SeaTac Airport in SeaTac, Boeing Field in South Seattle, and Payne Field in Everett. We do have a few smaller airports, but for the larger and major commercial flights, you'll need to consider how far away you want to be. We have a large airport up north in Bellingham, which is just south of the Canadian border, and we have several airports on the east side of the mountains, all of which are about 2 hours from the Seattle area. SeaTac is the major airport offering most flights, both international and domestic. The downside to being too close to the airports is the noise, but we can talk about that in another video. Okay, so other than a good job or a major airport, another thing that I've heard people want to be close to are hospitals. Do you have a specialist that you need to see on a regular basis? In this regard, you could begin your search with the different hospitals in King County or Pierce County. We have several major hospitals with different specialties. Once you pinpoint a hospital or specialist you like, then look for the communities within your reasonable commute time. In 2021, Tacoma General Hospital was voted Best Hospital in the South Sound. This was done by South Sounds magazine, Best of South Sound. A lot of South Sounds. And it was happened for the 8th consecutive year. Some other award-winning hospitals in the South End near Bonney Lake and Lake Tapps, Washington are the Auburn Medical Center and the Good Samaritan Hospital in Puyallup. Last year, they, along with the Tacoma General, received the American College of Cardiology Chest Pain Platinum Performance Achievement Award. So, needless to say, find your specialist and then start searching in your desired radius. How far do you want to drive for groceries? Do you prefer to live in an area that is walkable or has more options for public transportation? What about amenities? What do you need to have near you? One of my must-haves is a gym within a 10-minute drive from my house. When my husband and I were deciding where we wanted to purchase our home, I I only considered areas that had a few options for me within a 10-minute drive. And before I made the offer on our house, I went to the local gyms and took a tour of the facilities in order to ensure it was going to meet my needs and work for me. If you have must-haves like this, do a similar thing. If you're not local, ask your agent if they can do a FaceTime or a video tour with you, especially of those spots that you need to have near you. And make sure that they share approximate distance from your potential neighborhood. Are you looking for more unrestricted living where you can hunt, farm, and have a bit of land? Well, farmland can be found in pretty much any county. But if the price of land is a concern, you want to look further from the big cities, because as with most major cities, the closer you are, the more expensive it is. Many people are flocking to the South Sound, cities like Bonney Lake, Buckley, Sumner, Puyallup, Tacoma, Spanaway, Enumclaw, for this exact reason. More space, less money. But keep in mind that no land is ever entirely unrestricted. Just because your neighborhood isn't governed by an HOA doesn't mean you can do everything on your land. Properties are still subject to county codes as well as any city covenants and restrictions and regulations. Again, for the fewer restrictions, look far away from the big cities and continue to do your due diligence in checking with the county on their restrictions as well. As a realtor, I can request covenants and restrictions for you in neighborhoods that might have an HOA. So overall, I'll be your best source for that one once we start actually looking at houses. Are you looking for waterfront property? Well, again, you have some options here. Whether it be a lake or a river, the Seattle area has some gorgeous waterfront properties. In fact, water is one thing we absolutely do not fall short of here. Whether it be lakefront, riverfront, creeks, or the Puget Sound, you can find homes with any of these options. Your biggest consideration with waterfront homes will definitely be price and location. So, depending on all of the questions that we've asked already, you could open a map and look at the major lakes and rivers we have, and then find the communities that are close to the water. If you're looking for lakefront living within 30 minutes of the SeaTac airport, you'll want to look for communities in Burien, Seahurst, Des Moines, Kirkland, Bellevue, Mercer Island, or Renton. If this is your priority, I can help guide you to the right places. Just know, property prices are going to be more expensive in those areas. Are you the type of person that wants some of the city conveniences, but you don't want the hustle and bustle of a larger city like Seattle or even Tacoma? Well, you may want to consider looking at mid-sized cities like Puyallup, Auburn, or Lakewood. These cities have a population between 40,000 to 80,000, so you'll still feel a good sense of community without having to travel long distances for your essentials. Now, if you really want to avoid being around people, then you're going to be just fine in East Pierce County, where I live. If you want the feeling of a community, but you want to feel like you're living in the country with magnificent Mount Rainier views, Bonney Lake, Lake Tapps, Buckley, and Enumclaw offer solutions for you. With populations between 10,000 to 20,000, these areas give way to exactly that. Don't forget to check the distance to the area hospitals or other amenities like we've already discussed. Things like this are part of your due diligence in choosing a community. Lastly, you want to choose a community that aligns with your budget. Is the community going to be affordable for you? While it's true that property values have steadily been increasing in all areas of the state, for the country for that matter, it is possible to find affordable housing. As far as the cost of property in different areas, the age of technology allows everyone to see properties for sale and explore pricing. Spend some time researching property websites like HomeSnap to find out what properties with your criteria are going for. For this, you'll fill out things like number of bedrooms, number of bathrooms, square footage, and if it's important, you may even fill in how much land you want. Think about things like, do the homes for sale or recently sold within the last 6 to 12 months, like do they align with what you can afford and what you're looking for? If not, is there something you're willing to compromise? Because most likely you might want to look for a smaller house, maybe less acreage, maybe a fixer-upper. Being willing to compromise on some of your wants in order to get exactly what you need will definitely increase your chance of being successful in this market. For more videos on moving to Seattle or surrounding areas, or for information on living here in general, make sure to like this video and subscribe with the bell. That means you'll be the very first to be notified when new videos are released. I've got so much more to tell you about life and real estate in Seattle, Washington and surrounding areas, so I'll see you in the next video. To be the first to know about new videos and stay in front of my content, make sure to hit subscribe.